In the previous video, I sandblasted and powder-coated brake calipers. In this video, I will assemble them. I start by pulling plugs, and removing the masking. Inside of calipers must be clean. Cleaning seal grooves with a metal spike. Any buildup of sandblaster media has to be removed, otherwise it will scratch pistons. Cleaning with compressed air. Before I will assemble the caliper, I have to warn you about dangerous practices. You must not use any petroleum-based product for assembly of internal caliper parts. Any petroleum-based product will affect rubber in the braking system and cause it to fail. In general, North America mechanics and do-it-yourselfers will advise you to use brake fluid for assembly, which is okay. Once again, any petroleum-based product will ruin rubber parts not only in calipers, but also brake hoses, seals in the master cylinder, and in the ABS unit. In the UK and Australia, people use red rubber grease to assemble brake calipers. I used to use it myself because I saw somebody did it on the internet. I've bought on eBay red rubber grease, and it turned out that this product is repackaged and distributed by a company that is not providing any technical data, aka data, for the product. No info if it can be used safely in contact with brake fluid. The only info here is what should you do if by mistake you will put this on your bread. Here you have it. I got this package of red rubber grease from Great Britain. Thanks, Tomek. Thanks, Carol. But here you don't have anything written on the package. I asked Castrol Australia, the producer of red rubber grease, for the product info and especially if it can be used with brake fluid. I asked Lucas the same question. I have here Lucas repair kit, and this kit contains pouch of red rubber grease. But when I read instructions from the kit, it is stated here that for the piston assembly you should use the brake fluid. And when the grease is provided in the kit, it should be used to lubricate pins. It is already several months since I sent my questions to Lucas, so I don't expect any answer from them anymore. But Castrol Australia sent me this PDF with technical info about red rubber grease. You can find this document on their website, but there is only information that it protects rubber. No mention about brake fluid compatibility. So if you have data, aka data, that shows it can be used with brake fluid, send me a link to it. Meanwhile, some YouTubers use engine assembly lubes or even engine oil to lubricate brake pistons during assembly. Even when you read on the product brake, it doesn't mean that you can use it everywhere on the braking system. Don't believe everything you see online. Check the product sticker. Some manufacturers have a customer hotline. Call them. Ask them. There are products designated for brake caliper assembly, like this paste here. Producer provides here that this paste is compatible with .3, .4, and .5.1 brake fluid. It is German-made product by the ATEP company. Ja, das ist gut. I got this paste from Europe. Thanks, Christopher. I will use this paste for assembly. The caliper bore has two grooves. One takes the rubber dust boot, and the deeper one, this seal. I lubricate bore and grooves. Then the seal, new from the repair kit. I put it into the groove and the first impression is that it is too big. That's okay, just work it into the groove. I check if it is not twisted. Lubricating dust boot groove. And the dust boot. Lubricating piston. Now I put dust boot on the piston as it's supposed to sit there. I have to slide it back to the end of the piston, so it is protruding beyond the piston edge. Now I have to introduce this flange into this groove. I start at the bottom and then push it in gently at the top. When the boot is seated properly, I push the piston in, and the piston will hold the boot in the groove. Using this tool, I will push the piston into the bore. When the screw touches the bottom of the piston, I check once again if the boot is uniform all around. Looks good, I push it in. When the piston is going straight, you don't need much force to drive it in. Actually, the lever, aka lever, is short in this tool on purpose. The boot will position itself on the piston groove. Voila! I push it to the end because I need a lot of room for new brake pads. You can check if the boot will not be pushed out by the piston applying compressed air, but in my case, I'm sure it sits properly. Now I prepare the caliper carrier. Removing masking tape. Root canal. Ouch! Compressed air. Brake cleaner. Cleaning the cleaner now. Checking if pins can move freely and not scratching anything. To lubricate pins, I use this synthetic grease that is designed for this purpose. I came across reviews where people say that this grease causes rubber to swell and seize brakes. There are calipers with pins equipped with rubber seals on them. In my caliper, there is only metal to metal. I don't have to worry about it, and I have good experience with this product. I lubricate just a bit. Too much grease will make it difficult for pins to slide. Rubber seals. Ready. The caliper goes onto the carrier. The carrier will go first on the car, and then the caliper. But for now, I like to check if the caliper slides on the pins without any problem. Guide plates. One goes on the caliper. Two are mounted on the carrier. Those are positioned like that. Guide plates in. I use the ATE paste to lubricate the bleeder screw. It will ease loosening the screw in the future. Why brake calipers can seize? First, torn dust boot will let moisture in and the rusted piston will not retract into the bore. Second, dirt or rust can seize the pins and the caliper will not slide on the caliper carrier. Third, when brake pads will rust at those points, they will not slide on guide plates. Therefore, lubricate those spots, especially when there is salt on the road during the winter. Obviously, you must not allow grease onto the brake pads and discs. Rear calipers. Removing plugs. I don't want any material left there, so it will not hold moisture to the bleeding screw. Cleaning, cleaning, and once again, cleaning. It must be clean there. After washing the bores with brake cleaner, I dry it with compressed air. It may look like the same calipers from the outside, but the piston diameter may be different. I've ordered the right repair kit. Lubricating bores and seals with the paste. Once again, it seems that the seals are too big. This is the way those are. Just working them into the grooves, checking if they seat properly. Pistons. Those are used pistons, but they look much better than those from the remanufactured caliper I've bought. Their working surface is like a mirror. Pistons lubricated with the paste. Not too much paste. The tool. Can't drive it in. Change sides. Easy. The piston has to position itself the right way to go in. And it goes. The second. This one goes nice and easy from the get-go. The bleeding screw gets lubricated. I push out the pistons a little bit to set dust boots. Just enough to expose piston flanges. I lubricate piston flanges but avoid the caliper. Those boots have springs incorporated into the rubber. I lubricate dust boot only where it touches piston flange. I don't want those dust boots to pop out from the calipers. Seating boot on the piston carefully. I don't want to scar or puncture the boot. I push the outer ring with incorporated ring spring into the caliper flange. Pushing the piston in. Same story here. There are dust boots without inner ring spring, and then you have to hold the dust boot on the caliper using a retainer. Checking now if dust boots will be held on the caliper. Pistons moved, boots are sitting on the caliper. Sweet. Everything ready to be installed on the car.